What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a hoot and a holler, a true banger, if you will. A couple things I want to mention here. First and foremost, I am really sick. I'm like on the verge of losing my voice, if you guys can't tell. So all I'm going to say is bear with me here. I probably don't sound very normal whatsoever, but hey, we're going to roll with it. I appreciate you guys for tuning into today's video. I'm doing my best to bang this one out. Hey, my throat's kind of raspy, but I got some cough drops today. So, hey, I'm kind of salivating right now, dude. Honestly, my lips are pretty moist, dude. If I'm being straight up. So, I mean, I don't know, dude. You guys can take that however you want, but there's my info. So, either way, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Drop a like if you do. And without further ado, let's dive right into it. So, I wanted to preface this by saying that in high school, I was a complete dickhead piece of shit finesser. Not entirely, but I would listen. If it came down to it, and if it was a day where I needed to smoke, and I didn't have the money, I was gonna make it happen. And this was just one of those days. Okay, I really truly don't have a very good excuse for this one. All right, in a lot of like other stories where I've done stuff like this, you know, typically sometimes I'll have a good reason. This is one where, hey, it was just a lick, dude. it was the most petty shit one of the most petty licks I've probably ever hit. If you could even call it a lick, dude. It was like $20. But either way, so let's dive right into it. So this happened way back in my junior year of high school. And in that high school, that year, I had a computers class my first semester. And for those of you guys who have been watching me for a while, you might remember, I believe the video was like the worst weed I've ever smoked or something along those lines, where I had a classmate in this particular computer class who I sold some bunk-ass weed to. That happened later in the year, but it was the same guy that is in this video. This guy, listen. This guy was a mega finesse. This guy was a turbo jug, if you will. It was just, it was a very open and closed book with this guy. It was very simple, you know? So how this one went down, hey, that one, listen, by that point, me and this guy weren't on the greatest of terms, which looking back on it might have been my doing, but hey, whatever. But hey, so in this particular point, it was a little earlier in the semester and before that happened. And we're going to call this guy Dylan. And Dylan sat like a row ahead of me in this computers class, right? And it was like a video game development class, but we didn't really do any actual programming. We just used like some like, I don't remember what the program was called, like Scratch or some shit. It was some weird fucking game making program that like you would never use outside of this obscure high school class. It really didn't teach you much of anything. But either way, we're in this class, and everyone in this class just dicks around. Nobody actually does what they're supposed to do, right? So I'm talking to Dylan a little bit. I'm talking to some other homies. And it's a nice Friday, right? We're getting ready, gearing up for the weekend. You know, I got my weekend plans. You know, I'm planning on going out, getting lit, seeing what I can do. And Dylan's talking to me, and he's like, yo, dude. Because Dylan and I, he was not a very big drug user. He was never into hard stuff. He was a fairly straight edge guy, but he was always curious about it, right? And this particular request caught me very off guard, right? I'm talking to Dylan, and he's like, yo, do you know where I could get any acid, right? And at this point, I had actually not even tried acid yet. So I genuinely, like, I don't think I really had a connect at this point. But me being me, I'm thinking in my mind, and I think to myself, hey, you know, I don't really have any money for this weekend. It is a Friday, and I have like $10 to my name, dude. So we're going to have to figure out how to make that enough money for maybe a little 8 the mid or some shit, you know, or maybe I'll match on an 8 to some gas with somebody else, you know. We'll get an extra $15 or so and see what we can do, right? So me being me, I'm like, oh yeah, maybe, dude. I'll definitely let you know about that, right? And he's like, oh yeah, for sure, right? Let me get you on Snapchat, right? So he adds me up on Snapchat, all fine and dandy, right? And I like barely really knew this kid, right? Like we were like in class. I wouldn't even say friends. Like we would chat and dick around with each other in class, but we weren't really tight, right? So I get him on Snapchat. I don't really think a ton of it, right? I leave school that day and I completely forget about his request, right? I go home, I'm chilling, I'm kind of gaming a little bit, trying to figure out my Friday night plans. And Dylan hits me up once again and he's like, yo, do you have any word on that acid? He's like, it's not any rush, you know, it's not for me. My girlfriend wants it, right? And I'm like, okay. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wait a minute. This could be promising, I still need money for the weekend, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, right? I still wasn't sure, right? So I'm like, oh yeah, let me ask, some of my homies. I'll get back to you, right? I'm chilling for a little bit and I'm trying to find plans. And I decided in my head, I'm like, okay, if I can find some good plans for tonight, then I'm totally fucking this guy over, right? Me being the total dickhead scammer I was in high school. I was like, dude, if I find some good plans, this guy's $20 is in trouble, okay? Because I need it right now. So I'm hitting people up, and I hit up Cody, and I'm like, Cody, dude, what do you want? He's like, dude, you got to get over here right now. We got some fucking gas in stock, right? And Cody's brother always had the most fire weed, dude. Like, that was the plug you went to when you just wanted quality over everything. It was always so fire. So when Cody told me that it was like abnormally fire, that meant that it was essentially an emergency. Like, all bets are off. Get the fuck over there. Do whatever you can to get the money to buy this weed, right? And that, like, this weed was insane. It was totally worth the finesse. I'll say that right now. It was worth every bit of terrible action that I took. So I'm like, all right, now that I've got this plan, I need to do something. So I hit up dude and I'm like, oh yeah, how many tabs did you need? And as I hit him up, I'm thinking, I hop in my car and I'm like, well, I have to go get something, right? I have to like get something to serve him. I don't even have acid. Like I don't really even have a plug for it, right? So I go to Target. It's the first place I can think of. And the only thoughts that are running through my mind are I'm like, okay, construction paper would probably work, right? You can't use notebook paper. The consistency of the paper that they typically use for like a paper LSD tab is more of like honestly, construction paper is fairly close. It's not really close at all, but like I don't know much about arts and crafts. I don't even know what kind of paper, like what the name is for the paper they use, like the blotter paper or whatever. I don't know what to ask for in a store for that. So I'm just like, all right, dude, realistically, I just need to get some thick paper, right? So I go to Target, dude. I'm scrambling around Target. And listen, I'm one of those motherfuckers where if I go to the store, I will never, ever ask for help for anything, dude. If I can't find something, I will wander around. I will starve. I will become malnourished while looking for this item before I dare ask for help, dude. It's just not happening, bro. I will find that shit myself, right? So I'm wandering through this fucking Target, dude. I'm going absolutely balls to the wall ballistic, trying to find some cardboard paper or something, dude. Just anything, right? And finally, I stumble upon exactly what I'm looking for, right? I get to this little, like, kind of like crafty aisle, dude. Like, it's right near the checkout area. Just this little, like, total, like, basically the Karen aisle, dude. And I'm like, oh, this is it, dude. Like, this is 100% it. And I'm looking through and they have, like, all these notebooks and different kinds of paper and stuff. And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. And I grab this beautiful purple fucking construction paper. And I'm like, all right, this could really work. Now I needed some scissors, right? And I'm starting to realize, like, hey, how do I serve this to him, right? And I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, I can't really, like, let him, see the tabs. And it's not like I knew nothing about acid, right? Like, the first thing that came to my mind pretty much right after I thought that was like, okay, we need tinfoil, too. So I grabbed the tinfoil. I grabbed the construction paper and I'm looking around in the aisle. And of course, me being a high schooler, I had $10 fucking. Do you think I was paying for this shit? You're stupid. You're out of your mind, psycho, dude. I ripped that construction paper in half, dude. I've got my little scissors, dude. And thankfully, the scissors were in the same aisle, all very conveniently placed, dude. Then I get over to the tinfoil, smack that bitch open, dude. And that's over in the grocery section. Rip out a little section of it. I'm done, dude. Cram that shit in my pockets. And see, my strategy was whenever I steal is I would always still buy something. Some people advise against that and just say get out ASAP, but I don't know why. It made me feel more comfortable because I felt like if they were onto me, like they're onto me either way, I might as well enjoy a candy bar or something, So I would always grab something. So I grab myself a little Sprite, I check out and I get the fuck out of this Target, dude. And I'm sitting in the parking lot and I'm like, all right, dude, I'm good to go. So I've got this little half construction paper and I take the two corners and I just cut these little square pieces as even as I could eyeball it off the corners. And he tells me, because he told me, he's like, yeah, dude, I only need 2 tabs, right? That's all she wants. So I'm like, bet, dude, I don't have to fake like a 10 strip here, right? Like, because listen, if he wanted a bulk amount, it would be suspicious if like they were not like together, because typical blotter, when you get a 10 strip, it's typically like together. You're not getting 10 individual already separated tabs. That's a little sus, like you can, but that's usually not the case, right? So luckily he only wanted 2 tabs. So I'm like, oh, dude, bet. Perfect. I get this tinfoil, I'm like crumbling it up a little bit, trying to just make it all look legit. And I figure, if I just wrap it in the tinfoil and hand it to him, like, he said it's for his girlfriend. The guy's probably not gonna know what he's even looking at. Like I'm probably overthinking this quite a lot, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever, fuck it, dude. We're just gonna serve the guy. So I hit him up. I'm like, yo, dude, I managed to get some tabs. You still need those? Knowing, of course, he's going to say yes. He's like, oh, yeah, man. Could you meet up with me somewhere? And I'm like, yeah, where you want to link up? This guy's like Five Guys, dude. Five Guys was the spot, bro. Listen, everyone sold drugs at Five Guys. There was like a Five Guys and like a Chipotle, like right next to each other. And then in between, there was like a phone, like a Sprint store or some shit, dude. Listen, drug dealer headquarters, this location, right? So I pull up to this Five Guys. Dude slides, he hits me up. He's like, yo, dude, I'm in the Jeep. I'm like, all right, bet, dude. This guy did, I will admit, I did kind of like his Jeep. It was not, he had a pretty cool Jeep. But either way, so I hop in his car. I dap him up. I'm like, hey, dude, you got that dub? He's like, yeah, for sure. This whole process took me maybe an hour and a half from start to finish. I really overthought it a little bit, honestly. I probably didn't have to go to Target. I probably honestly could have gotten all the materials at home. But I just was not thinking, dude. So either way, I hand him this tinfoil. He doesn't do shit. He doesn't even open it, dude. He just hands me the money. I dap him up, and I'm like, bet, dude. We've secured the tiny bag. We've secured the dub. We can smoke some gas. I hop back in my car. I fly over to Cody's house at the speed of light, dude. I'm absolutely ecstatic, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot believe it, dude. Like, hey, listen. I was thrilled. I'm sliding over there. I get over there. I dap Cody up. He's like, dude, you're going to be excited about this weed. I'm like, what do we got today? I remember this. One of the most rewarding $20 purchases I've ever made. Cody's brother refused to tell me what the weed was. He was like, I know you're going to like it, but I'm not going to tell you till you pay me for it. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, you got to tell me, dude. I want to know. Dude, I'm tweaking. You got to tell me. I hand him the money. He's fucking with me a little bit. He won't hand me the weed. He's like, oh, I don't know if you're ready. I'm like, oh shit. He hands me the bag. The most beautiful granddaddy perp ever. The most beautiful, dude, gorgeous, so pretty, bro, delicious, beautiful smelling, nice fruity, uplifting smell to it, such a beautiful smoke, dude. We had the most beautiful sesh ever at the sake of this guy. But the weird thing is, right, we still had quite a bit of time left together in this class, right? So even after this weekend went by, I was expecting him to like hit me back up or say something. He never said anything to me. And then a couple months later, for those guys who are OGs are going to remember this story, I sold him some really awful weed that one of my friends brought to a sesh to match one time. Like the worst weed I'd ever touched, right? Like this guy he just did it to himself, dude. He really did it to himself. But hey, either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. Thank you all for watching. Hey, sorry this video is a little bit on the shorter end. Like I said, my throat is fucked right now. I think I have the Ronies. Thank you guys for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in tonight's live stream. Peace out, my gamers.